You're watching the Health Now Nutrition Podcast, advancing our holistic and nutrition industry one story at a time. Presenting your host, Michelle Post.
Welcome everyone to another fabulous edition of Saved by Nutrition and from Health Now Nutrition Inc. And I am so excited to have the amazing Joanne here on our show today. Joanne is proudly supporting the book with Saved by Nutrition with her wonderful company, Fabless at 50. So I'm just going to share a little bit about fabulous, right? Like fabulous. Notice that's one of my favorite words. I'm going to share a bit about Joanne. She is a wellness innovator. She truly walks the talk, a dedicated oncology nurse who boldly began her own personal journey to self-discovery. Joanne rose above the stress of an unhappy marriage and positively transformed her life on every level. Now this acclaimed facilitator, sought-after public speaker, and mastermind mentor nurtures others to holistic health using a unique blend of modalities, including light and sound therapy, belief repatterning, and now a metabolic balance coach herself. She's a devoted humanitarian and a contributor of several award-winning bestsellers. Joanne's message is about having the courage to choose adventure, to accept support, and to know beyond a doubt that you deserve to be cherished. Having already established Calgary's Fabless at 50, which is a thriving community of women engaged in education, socialization, and self-celebration, Joanne now looks forward to making a positive difference in many more lives as the owner and creative director for the entire Fabless at 50 venture worldwide. If you want to learn more about Joanne and what she does with Fabless at 50, you can visit her at www.fabulousat50, that's FABULOUSAT50.com. Or you can email her directly at joanne@fabulousat50.com. Again, JOANNE at FABULOUSAT50.com. Welcome to our wonderful show. That was a mouthful.
That was a mouthful. Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm so excited to have you on the show. So tell us a bit more about the Fabless at 50 events that you have there. You've been doing this now for a number of years, hey?
Yeah, so about 5 years ago. So originally Fabless at 50 was founded by a woman named Diana Bose up in Edmonton, Alberta. And it was the year that she turned 50. She was an empty nester and came out of divorce and came out of some health issues. And she wanted some girlfriends to play with. And it grew from there. And she started having wonderful events, meetup groups, gatherings for women, and putting on this wonderful trade show that celebrated women who were in midlife and brought the businesses that also serve and celebrate them together, and lots of fun. Obviously, she couldn't keep doing that all over the country. So then she had an idea. So I then set up, I have the rights to Calgary, and I did the same thing. So we do a whole variety of fun events. As I said, they can range from a workshop to a night out on the town to going hiking in the mountains. And most recently, as you mentioned, is very sadly, we lost Diana Bose. She passed away in March. And she was my mentor, my inspiration. It was a really hard time for all of them, or really all of us that are involved with her. But what it has brought now into my life is I was approached and asked if I could take the reins, sort of say, if I could step into the role of guiding this organization. And so that's a big new adventure right now. So I'll be serving as the community leader specifically for Calgary, and then overseeing the organization as a whole.
Wow. That's absolutely amazing. Because I know I've been to your events over the last couple of years too, as a participant, as a booth as well. And it is one of the massive events that I've been to.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And, with the world in the state it is right now, of course, we've had to scale that back. So instead of having big events where hundreds, if not thousands of women come to, at the moment, we're focusing on how can we support people online or in small groups where that's allowable. We do have in-person communities throughout Canada right now, and our goal is to grow more. I have a goal if I want a community director in each province by the end, one, like at least one represented within the next year.
Right.
And I think that's very doable. And in the meantime, what we're doing is we offer a really wonderful sort of Be Fabulous newsletter. So our blogs and podcast and everything that we focus on really is about serving and supporting women in midlife, from, you know, from the fun socialization to the health and wellness. And of course, you know, being a nurse, I'm all about how you can be healthy, because when you're healthy, that's how you can enjoy your life better.
Absolutely. I was with another person the other day, and of course, the biggest gift that you can give someone is your own personal health, because
Yeah.
that way it is a burden when you are sick that other people do have to take care of you. They have to stop your lives. I mean, people do it lovingly. Absolutely. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So the best thing that you can do is to give them their freedom to be able to take care of their own families. We have like mothers taking care of their sick children, adult children. We have adult children taking care of their sick parents. And even in my own case with my mom, who never took care of herself, it's like can't even go and see her, and she's not that old. And she's in a nursing home. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to do with that. So I love that you're promoting the wellness in all the different areas holistically.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because one of the things that I think often women, and especially women, I think in, you know, our generation, is it was always about giving to the point of draining ourselves. It was
Oh,
about
yeah.
giving at all costs, and that we somehow glorified sacrificing.
Yes.
When in reality, if we learn to fill ourselves up, if we keep our body strong, if we keep it well nourished, if we keep our brains nourished with positive thoughts, then we are in a better position to serve and love other people. So we
Right.
can actually do more by helping ourselves first. And I'm not really one that gets into a lot, like to use the word, they go, oh, you got to be selfish first. And I'm like, no, you don't. It's not selfish, because that has a negative connotation.
Yeah.
It's about self first. It's like putting on the oxygen mask first so that you can serve others better. Yeah. It's selfish is when it's me only.
Yes.
This is me first, and then from the overflow.
Right. And that's the whole point of it. So
and
for
it's
everyone,
then.
Right? Like, it's absolutely doable. It's amazing. So again, if you want to know more about Joanne and what she does and how she can help, you can visit her at www.fabulousat50.com, which is FABULOUSAT50.com, or email her directly at Joanne at fabulousat50.com, at JOANNE ampersand FABULOUSAT50.com.
Yeah. Thank you for stressing that AT, because quite often for fun, it's really fun to write fabulous or fab with that little squiggle at sign, but you can't use that when you're using URLs or every, you know, that. So thank you for making sure we're getting that correct.
Oh yeah, we want to make sure that when people want to get a hold of you, they can. Let's make that easy for everyone, right?
Yeah, I'd love to, because we have a really wonderful array of offerings that really does focus on, as we said, the socialization. And I just want to put a little plug, which it's sometimes socializing sounds frivolous, but a lot of us know now that we're all coming out of being isolated, is that isolation can be a struggle. You know, it can be a real struggle for people. It's not always the same as I'm taking a peaceful time. You know, they've shown that studies show that being socially connected, having meaningful social connections, is one of the greatest determinants on how well we live.
Absolutely.
Right? That, along with what we put in here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, even my favorite introverts during this time, who are like, oh my God, I just got to be away from people, are like, hello, hi, hello. So super fun. So tell us about the journey that you yourself have taken with nutrition, how that's been affecting you in your life.
Absolutely. Interesting. And I think nutrition has become far more prevalent, like my awareness of nutrition has become far more prevalent as I got older, you know. Funny how that works. Growing up as a child and a teenager, although I never thought of myself as skinny, when I look back on those pictures, I was like tiny.
I was.
And I'm fairly tall, you know, like 5'6", just a little over 5'6", and I was quite slim, and I was good up until I had my children. And then it was like, oh, kept on a little extra 5 pounds here and a 5 pounds here. And then again, I still coasted. And I have the curviness, I have the hips that my waist still always looks smaller. So I could carry extra weight without it really being noticeable, if that made sense.
Yeah.
Until
I have that body too.
yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, my clothes could stretch in and out. I could go up or down a fair bit of weight and still wear the same size clothes. You're either on the loose side or on the, oh, okay, that's getting tight. But I know it's not all about the weight. So I didn't get too caught up in the body image. But when I hit perimenopause and I hit menopause, I literally packed on like 20 pounds in a year and my belly went out. And I'm going, wait a minute. I've always been a proponent of, as long as the girls stood out further than your belly,
Right.
you're doing okay. But my stomach I was like, where did all this belly come from? And a lot of the women within our organization, they just go, where'd it come from?
How was your physical feeling? Energy, or anything else? Digestion?
Yeah, my digestion started going off. That was an issue. What I didn't like was it became more of an effort for doing the things I love. I love kayaking. I like going hiking. Even though I was still active, I just felt like, okay, the energy of even wanting to work out seemed to drop. I now understand there's actually hormones involved in that, and the whole metabolism is getting thrown off, because you and I know what was happening to me is I was building up insulin resistance at the time, right? And the other thing I noticed was just the uncomfortable. When I hit my peak weight, which was probably about a year and a half ago, maybe, where I kind of crossed the threshold where I went, oh my gosh, this is not okay. It was uncomfortable just bending over, like in yoga class and tying my shoes. Like, it just overall, I was feeling uncomfortable in my body. It wasn't, thank gosh, I wasn't looking in the mirror going, oh, I hate you. Right. Like, and I know a lot of women do that, but I was starting to go, I'm not as happy with what I'm seeing. But more importantly is through more the mindset work I do, I was able to look at myself very frankly and go, I love you enough that I'm going to take the action to keep you healthy. Like, this is me having a conversation with my body.
Self-love.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a big thing that people don't know or understand, is the act of good nutrition is as an act of self-care and self-love.
It is.
Yeah.
And there is that accept myself how I am. There is that I love myself, I accept myself. But there is a difference between, I accept myself how I am, and therefore I'm just going to do whatever I want. And I personally struggle with that attitude, because I think it's when people feel a despair that no matter what they do, they can't make a difference.
Actually, I like that you say that, because for me, what's coming up is there's a difference between self-acceptance and self-love. And I accept myself for who I am and what I look like and all that stuff. And that's wonderful. We all need to do that, no matter what. That has to be done. There's a difference between self-love. It's like, I love you for exactly what you're doing, because you're trying your darndest. I'm going to actually help you do better because I love you, by feeding myself the right foods that I know you'll function better. So,
right. And that was the motivation for me, is that I know these other things in my life that I want to do. And I know that obviously physical exercise and activity and so forth makes a difference, and the energy, but really what we're putting in your mouth. And here's where I got caught. And if anyone's listening to this, you might have a similar story.
I probably do.
I was actually eating quite healthily. Like, I'm not one that lives on fast food and Twinkies and donuts. Would I have them once in a while? I would, for sure. So but obviously I wasn't eating what was right for me specifically. When I started gaining all this weight, I had not changed my eating habits. It was a shift. It was like the tipping point inside my body going, I've had enough. I know you think you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, but you're not doing what's right for you.
That's an awesome story, because even for myself, when I first started, when I graduated and I was eating all the right foods, I made myself this amazing protein shake, and I found raw milk, so, that's a different story, but I found raw milk. So it had all the enzymes in it, some beautiful free range eggs. I had spinach, a banana, and some of my favorite protein powder in there. So that way, that's what my breakfast was. But I could only take certain sips because it sat up here. And so this was what was interesting. I love that we're sharing this, because the rest of my stomach had swollen up, because I later on found out that I could only take it and only eat so much because I had created a hiatal hernia. So that's where the stomach breaks through, because all of those foods were foods that I had sensitivities or allergies to and didn't know it. So it created so much inflammation inside my body, even though they're all super, super good foods, super foods.
Exactly. And that's the issue, is that it's not necessarily, there's not like, here's a superfood and the entire world it's a superfood for.
Right.
It's not. I mean, we have classification is good. We know that there's our biochemistry is different. Someone that, if we go back to the body types, right? That super lean, sinewy type of person is very different than, you know, someone like myself that's always, you know, I always call it extra cuddly.
Well, I do love
I'm a little extra cuddly.
I love cuddling.
Which is fine versus the really, really muscular. And we have different requirements, you know, like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's done from measurements. Right. So this got you to a place that you've done all these amazing therapies, basically, you know, the light therapy, the sound therapy, and I've seen you do it, and it's totally impacted me on stuff that you've done there. And then over this last year, you've turned to nutrition in a much larger way than you have. Can you tell us a bit about that? What drove you to do the nutrition aspect?
Absolutely. And I guess if I can just quickly touch base on what I have found is, as I go through my life, a massive change. And you can read, I'm a contributor to a book called I'm a Brilliant Woman 3. And in there I share quite a bit of the story. But just over 10 years ago, maybe 12 now, you know, I had an incident that kind of rocked me to my core. Everything I held near and dear in my life was pulled from under me. And I went through the classic turmoil. I was not the person I am now, but that was the catalyst. And then,
but you are fabulous, by the way.
Thank you. So thank you. And I have to point out, fabulous is a fun word. And at first I was like, I don't want people to think it's frivolous, because it is fun, but it has a real serious side to it. It's like, we seriously have fun, but it really is that.
And you're keeping us in anticipation.
When I say fabulous to women, oh, fabulous at 50, they all go, they sit up going, yeah, I want to be fabulous.
Right.
This is kind of what brought me through very briefly, is that as I was either struggling or opening to, how can I shift how I'm thinking and feeling and behaving.
So this is what happened 12 years ago?
Yeah, but 12 years ago, you know, I went through a divorce and I had my kids with me mostly full time. And I sunk my heart and soul into that. But I also knew there was something inside of me that had been squashed, because I had focused on everybody else and I'd forgotten about myself. So it became that, how do I keep giving to others, but in a better way, because I'm filling myself up? And so that started my journey. But over the time, what I found is I first get engaged with an activity because I love it, right? The music or the sound therapy is, I just wanted to show up. I was a friend going with a friend and I'm playing with bowls, but I love the science. As a nurse, I love the science of something. So as I learned, there's a science behind how this relaxes your body and helps you heal. So then I go through and get the certification. So I did that with light, and I did it with sound, and I did it with belief repatterning, which is just a simple, it's about the neuroplasticity of our brain. I'm mentioning those because when I now coach people with the nutrition side, which literally we are what we eat, right?
Right.
All the others support it, because when we eat and our digestion and our sleep and weight loss, we need relaxation. We need that rest and digest. So I can bring that in with either the sound. So, when we have the monkey mind going on, I can use the belief repatterning. And so I blend them all together, but let's focus on the nutrition for today.
So how did that start then with you when you just chose, because you became a metabolic balance coach this year, and you've been working with that over the past year. Tell me about your experience when you started using nutrition for yourself and your body.
All right. So, well, a lot of it I have to thank for you, because I had heard about you. I had heard, I might back up the bus. I had played off and on during this sort of, shall we say, 4 or 5 year battle. I had tried several other different, here's the fit for you, have this green shake every day, raw stuff and raw kale. Well, if you don't have a good functioning gut microbiome in there, having raw greens can just like throw your bowels out. It's almost like I think for about 3 years, I was struggling with irritable bowel syndrome. It was never diagnosed, but I just know the signs that I was eating stuff that are supposed to be good for me. And I'm like, that's not working.
I can't do that either. People, there's all the big quandary, whether you should use a Vitamix for blending because you get the fiber in it versus a juicer, which takes all the fiber out. And then most of the people are like, you need all the fiber. And I'm like, when I do that, especially with my history with Crohn's disease, it's not good. So I need the nutrients more.
Yeah. So I really empathize with people that are going, I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried that. So what I did is I tried several things and I focused, and you have less of this and more of that, but I kept listening. And I remember one day I just went, okay, tell me more. What the heck is this metabolic balance? Explain it to me more thoroughly. And you did. And then I went
very thoroughly.
So I signed my little sorry ass up, and I went, okay, I am going to learn about this. And it helped me. What I did when I worked with you is I came down about 15 pounds. Now I probably could lose 30 or, more pounds, but I came down to the point where I was feeling comfortable again. And I learned a little bit more about myself. And then I went into the maintenance going, okay, I'm really comfortable. And then Christmas hit and I was like, went off the rails a little bit there.
Right.
But I knew I could come back on. And because what I like is this program is you just course correct, right? You just course correct and go, okay, well, I know the plan. I know the path. But this time around, this year.
Love that you're drinking your water.
I know. You and I had a conversation, and what I recognized is this was something that I wanted to help other people with. And also my curiosity. One of the things that happened to me 10 years ago is I rekindled my love of learning. I rekindled my curiosity of, like I went back to school to reinstate as a nurse. And I'll tell you, this big honker textbook and reading really kicked my middle-aged menopausal brain into gear. And that's the only way we keep it active, is we have to keep those neurons active. It drives me nuts when I hear people say, oh, how are you doing? Oh, same old, same old. And I'm like, stop doing the same old, same old.
Right.
Do something new.
Definition of crazy people.
The metabolic balance, when I wanted to go through it again as a client, in a sense, like when I wanted to really say, I'm going to go through this, but I want more awareness. So that's when I signed up to do the certification, because I knew it was something of value that I could bring to my community. Right? Because so many women are struggling with, where the hell did this belly fat come from and what's going on? So I loved learning about the science behind this program, and that it's all natural foods. It's just everyday food, I guess is the best way to say it. It's not magic shakes. You don't have to buy powders. You don't have to, you eat your food, but the right amount, the right calories for you. It's not reducing. And it's foods I love to eat anyways, but now I'm eating it in a way that I'm getting results. And so I did the education, and then I restarted. I decided I'm not only just going to course correct, I'm going to start from the beginning with a different viewpoint. And I went through right from the beginning of the initial, and I think it was fantastic. I've come down 8 pounds in the last 2 weeks.
Yep. Yeah.
And, and your birthday or a party through the
party, the 50 with,
Now, I personally, it wasn't your party threw it off, because we're allowed. Like, what I love is that you're supposed to have a treat meal. But of course, like most, disobedient people, non-compliant, is we go, oh, that won't matter. And the next day. And
the same thing. It's only one cigarette, right? Like,
That's
one cigarette won't kill me. Like, yes, the conglomeration of, right?
Yeah. The good lesson. I went back to kind of really bad old habits and went, that wasn't really worth it. But what I love is within a couple of days, I'm feeling back. And what I've noticed is, one, I have way better nails. Interesting. My nails are nice.
Just see these?
For me, like yours are incredible.
I haven't even done this. I haven't done anything with them.
No, I have for years used strengthener, and my nails are doing well. I have energy. I mean, I don't ever do caffeine, really. I just,
I still do.
so that was good. I'm energized and I'm sleeping really well. Those are not often comments that women in their menopausal years make. And
Right?
so I don't struggle with hot flashes. I mean, unless I have wine, which,
Yes.
yeah, I'll have some wine once in a while because we
Or
live.
big fat burgers this big,
I know,
then maybe a little bit of heat coming on.
but it's living. But it's not so matter of, oh, here's the deprived and here's the what I'm craving for. It's not. It's like, honestly, I find some of the stuff that at one point in time would have been like, oh, I'm craving it. It's like, I'm not really
Right?
craving it. It's nice to have. I'm in that situation, but I do crave a really well, gourmet kind of meal that's just delicious. It's good quality food.
Well, and if
Even
you ever notice, when you go out to those gourmet places, they actually feed you almost exactly like Metabolic Balance would.
yeah,
It's your meat and your vegetables, and they don't add the additional starches unless you actually request them. And they're grilled perfectly. They've got the perfect amount of spice on them. They're very, like, you can eat almost anywhere on this lifestyle,
yeah.
as long as you make that choice. So yeah, I love that you said, because yeah, you can get a gourmet meal anywhere.
Yeah, and one of the things I love about the metabolic balance eating plan, I call it an eating plan. It is a diet because what's
It's
interesting
not a
is,
diet. It's not a
no,
diet.
but
It's a
here's the thing,
lifestyle.
it is like from a medical or nursing, I have to put this little plug in there. A diet is simply what you eat. The
So
diet of a horse is they're eating the hay and straw, right? The or the grass or so forth. The diet is what you eat. What we have done is we've made the word diet synonymous with weight loss. Weight loss diet,
yeah,
weight loss is actually an adjective. You could have diet as tolerated. You could have a soft diet. You could have
you're
this
so
diet.
smart.
I know. I just have to throw that in.
We really
But
love to call it though a lifestyle, so that way
it
it
is.
gets that
It is.
stigma off of it, right? So
Exactly. But here's what I want to put in there is one of the things I love is bread. I love bread. And I love rye bread. And I absolutely adore sourdough rye bread. And guess what?
yeah,
That is the bread of choice on this eating plan.
yeah.
And
It's so
I'm
nutritionally
happy.
packed
Yeah,
that yes, it's like this. This is the choice. This is the low glycemic. It's amazing.
I think
Um,
that's what sold me.
right? You can have bread, but it has to be this kind of bread. You know.
I'm okay. I'm okay
Unless
with
there's people who are celiac, then we will find something else that is low
yes.
glycemic load
Yeah.
for them that they can actually eat. But usually most people are like, most people, even if they have gluten intolerances, the rye bread has been actually very,
And
very
that's what I was
beneficial.
going to say is there
Yeah,
is a difference between, as we know, and that's a whole nother conversation, sensitivities, intolerances, and allergies.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
People
We've had
often say I have an allergy to something, and I'm like, that's not actually an allergy. It's an intolerance, it's still uncomfortable, but there's different physiological responses going on in our
yeah,
body to the two.
IgE, IgG.
Yeah.
We call it
Yeah.
MAG,
Yeah.
IgM,
I think
IgA,
the easiest for
IgD,
people is,
IgG.
yeah, it's a histamine reaction when you have an allergy.
Right. So now, what I love that you've been sharing though is that the mindset I think is a really important aspect as well.
Yeah.
And so we worked a lot it took you a year to get your mindset back on track to really get to know. And what is it you needed to know in order to actually really take it more seriously about your health and your lifestyle? So what kind of, like, you do all these other modalities, what is your favorite modality that you like to use to keep the mentality going about this to continue on your lifestyle?
Whew. They all serve a slightly different purpose, but I think one of the most effective would be belief repatterning.
Yes.
So developed by Sue Casey, there is a lot of different modalities out there. And this isn't really a modality. What this does is a simple practice that uses the scientifically proven way we learn. It deals with the neuroplasticity of our brains, which simply means we can change our brains. Like years ago, and our kind of generation and older, at one point in time, we used to make jokes, kind of like, there goes, a brain cell, as if it's
Can't
gone
teach a
forever.
dog new tricks, like an old
That's
dog.
right. You can't do that. And so a good way of thinking of this is picture like the old wheelbarrow rut going from the house to the barn. If you're always doing the same thing back and forth, you have these habits. So if you purposely change your habit, you might go a different direction or go a different way. It's easy to get caught in that rut again, and you have to consciously. So I guess an easy way to explain belief repatterning is that our subconscious, meaning the way we behave without thinking, is driven by our repetitive conscious thoughts. So the best analogy I can use there is learning to drive. Remember, 16 years old, it's like, you have to consciously go rear view mirror, look ahead, side view mirror. Okay,
Right.
am I right? Like, it's all on a conscious level. Nothing is automatic, nothing. Yeah. So that's conscious, repetitive. And then at some point in time, without even knowing or recognizing, it became subconscious. I mean, how many of us sometimes drive home and go, how did I just get here? Like, you're in that automatic mode. That's because it's running on a subconscious level. And if something ran in front of you, we'd hit the brakes right away. You don't have to go think brakes and hit. Same type of thing for almost virtually everything in our life. The way we respond to relationships, the way we respond to our kids. If we go through a process of consciously every day saying, I am going to focus on a positive, and it might be as simple as we have this wonderful 999 word, it's a poster or a little booklet, and you pick a positive word each day, and you simply make a decision that I'm going to focus on that today. I'm going to either be that, embody it, or I'm going to notice where it shows up in my life. Nice. Right? Maybe your word is laughter. Maybe it's like, okay, what's this about? But what that does is it trains the brain in a gentle, fun way of going to the more positive and your overall being. So that brings in some happiness there. Now, when you work with a practitioner, because I'm, work in that realm, is we can actually go deeper. We pick a word and we pick something you're working on, and we go through the 7 statements. And as people go through it, it's amazing how someone will be like, oh, la, 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 and suddenly go, and they feel this emotional trigger. And we go, okay, that's it. Now what we want to do is reprogram that. We want to repattern. That's all it's about. It's creating a new pattern. What would you rather have? And the main thing about this whole system, and this is where it works with nutrition and what we're eating, is on one hand, I can stay stuck in, and we'll use just the word ick, and it could be the ick, or I could stay stuck in believing I can't lose weight, or be stuck in I'm too old to change, or whatever it is they're stuck in. Or I can consciously choose, and whatever it is, their desired outcome. And then I actually physically get them to decide. I say, feel it. And what's amazing is people often, here's the yucky, here's the good. They will be like, whoa, this actually feels lighter. I want to choose this.
Yeah.
As soon as that conscious choice is made, that neural pathway is made.
Nice.
And so then, boom, that is now in it. And if they reinforce that on a regular basis, then you're going to just naturally drink the water you need. Believe that you're empowered to, what I'm eating is nourishing my body.
I think that is so important.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. That's the biggest thing I found with people, is that they don't believe in themselves, or they go back to old lifestyle or old habits. And
you have to forgive yourself for that. Like, if you have a day where it's like, oh my God, I just binged on something. And then, but if you have the awareness that you went, oh, I just did that because emotionally I've always done that, then you can make a new conscious choice. And that, coupled with having an actual plan where virtually you don't have to think. You just have to, you go and say, I need this much vegetable, this much protein, this much, and you just eat it, and it's delicious, and there's wonderful creative. I mean, you can almost adapt any recipe to it. You just follow the
absolutely
rules.
Absolutely. Right? Just follow the lifestyle. It's fabulous. So thank you so much for sharing all of that with us today, Joanne. You gave us so much good information and sharing your story about why it's so important for you. And I'm so grateful that you are an amazing supporter for the book, Saved by Nutrition, as well.
It's such an honor to be connected with it.
Right? Yeah. Which, by the way, it is coming out. It's in the next 3 weeks. So
yay! That's fantastic. And I'll happily I really want the Fabless 50 community, not just in Calgary. Obviously, that's my main demographic where I know people in person. But Fabless 50 is expanding. I mean, our goal is to be across not just Canada, but into the States, because our motto is that we're celebrating a vibrant global community of women over 50 and getting them to feel healthy and giving them the support when they think maybe it's not there on their nutrition is one incredible way that we can do it. And so thank you so much for this resource.
Thank you. Thank you again. So if you want more information on Joanne, you can visit Joanne at www.fabulousat50.com. That's FABULOUSAT50.com. Or you can email her at joanne@fabulousat50.com as well. So thank you so much again. I love talking with you. As you guys can all see, her and I can go on forever. So thank you again for joining us and sharing so much. And I can't wait to see you again.
Thank you. It's such an honor, and I wish you all the best with this book. I know it's going to be a bestseller right off the press.
Woohoo! Okay. See you next time, everyone.
You've been watching the Health Now Nutrition Podcast with Michelle Post. For more information on how you can be part of the holistic and nutrition movement, visit www.healthnow.today to book your meeting.